Greetings, imagination connoisseurs. The sanctimoniously notorious Robert Meyer Burnett here from the Robservations show on YouTube, the show about something. As many of you know, my show is sponsored by Lucky Tiger men's grooming products for those men who want to look good and feel great. And as something kind of fun, I thought I would do a Living the Lucky Tiger life, where I would interview interesting people from across the web who do many different things that might give us some insight into what's it like to be a Lucky Tiger person. How do you lead the Lucky Tiger life? The first episode, of course, had Alan Murphy, the president of Lucky Tiger. And this time, for episode number 2, I have James Hills for you. James Hills is from the mantripping.com website, which is a place where if you're a guy that wants to lead a Lucky Tiger life, if you go to mantripping.com, they'll tell you where you can go, what you can do, what you can drink, how you can grill, all of these things. And this time I've got James actually talking to me from a brand new cruise ship that's moving outside of Vancouver, British Columbia, into the ocean, which you'll be able to book passage on later this year. Now, the sound isn't so great because he's coming to me from the cafeteria via Skype, but it's pretty cool. So I figured, why not show you this? And I was able to get some cool footage from the actual cruise line itself that'll give you more of an idea of what this ship is actually like. And I'll tell you something, I'm not a dude who's ever been on a cruise before, but this made me want to go. So, let me give you James Hills.
I am currently on the Norwegian Bliss, sitting in the ever amazingly fun and awesome city of Vancouver, Canada. The Norwegian Bliss just came over here from China. They just completely renovated it. It's actually only about 2 years old, but they wanted to make it extra special and fun for the American audience. And we're getting ready to set sail here out of Vancouver, and the ship will be sailing to Alaska this summer out of Seattle. We were on the Bliss last year, and it is a phenomenal ship. This is its sister ship, so they've got all sorts of cool stuff on here. They got it's like 17 different bars. They got a go-kart track. They even have a simulator ride downstairs for doing some racing. It's a really cool ship for guys.
Now, how big is this ship? Like, what's the complement?
So I'll have to get the actual figures for you, but I think it's 3,800 passengers and then another 1,700 crew. So it's a huge ship. But it's the fun thing about cruising is the fact that it doesn't seem like that big, and
right.
There's always a bar like 2 minutes away from you. So.
Is this the kind of bar that is known for their gourmet specialty drinks and cuisine?
They quite literally have everything on this ship. They've got sugarcane, which is a mojito bar. They've got malting, which is a whiskey bar. They've got, of course, the fruity frozen drinks too up by the pool. There's all sorts of stuff on here, and they've got tons of restaurants as well.
Is this an all-inclusive cruise line? I mean, is it a one fee get you everything, or is it pay as you go?
So it's a little bit of both, and I know it's a terrible way of answering a question like that, but one of the things I really like about Norwegian Cruise Lines, and yes, they are hosting me on this as a member of the media, but while you can pay for the premium restaurants and the drinks, they have a program that's called Free at Sea, which different promotions offer that. And with that, you can get open bar, you can get premium restaurants included. And then there are pretty much an all-inclusive package if you want to book that. But if you don't want to book the all-inclusive package, you have the option of just picking and choosing.
Now, are you going Vancouver up through Alaska?
No, unfortunately, this is just a media preview cruise. So instead of the 3,800 people, it's probably, I'm guessing, 1,500, 2,000 people on board, but it's all media and travel agents. This one's just a 3-day trip down to Long Beach, or rather San Pedro.
Oh, nice.
And after that, it's going to be going up to Seattle and spending the summer going back and forth between Seattle and Alaska, as well as doing some shoulder season cruises on the West Coast. And after that, I'm not sure where it's going, but if you check out ncl.com, I'm sure they have all sorts of stuff. But NCL has been a great partner of ours, and frankly, I really enjoy the freestyle cruising here, because a lot of times you have this misconception of cruising where you look at stuff like, as lovely as the Love Boat was, for instance, cruising was kind of boring back in the old days.
Right.
And now you've got cigar bars and whiskey bars and go-kart tracks and laser tag. And it's just a lot of stuff. Like, if you ever get bored on a cruise ship, you're not doing it right.
Can a group of guys go by themselves? I mean, I always thought of cruise ships as either couples or families, but could you see a group of men get together and take a cruise?
Would a bunch of guys like to go someplace where they can have steak every night, where they can have, craft cocktails or whiskey, and there's even a beer bar on the ship, go into amazing locations where you can go fishing and play golf?
I think that
Yeah.
they would. Count me in.
And so like that's one of the things that I love about cruising. It's like, yes, clearly the family market and clearly the romantic market is big for the cruise industry. But when you think about it, like the stuff that a bunch of guys would want to do a trip for, it's totally there.
Right.
And whether or not you do that with with a bunch of guys just together, or if you do, like for instance, on this cruise, one of my really good friends, Rick from Rick on the Rocks, is with me. He's going to be doing some stuff with me, doing a bar crawl tour. I don't know if it's too ambitious, but there's 17 or so bars on the board. We're going to try to take pictures and drinks at each one of them in the next 3 days.
That's amazing.
But it's cool because while he's here with his wife and I'm here with my wife, the two of us can go do our thing too, and the two of them can do their thing. And so, no matter how you divide it up for guys travel, there's absolutely some fun stuff to do that it's pretty affordable. I mean, that's what's awesome. Like if you go to Vegas, you're gonna be spending $500-600 a night, between the room and food and all that kind of stuff. And you're not going to do that here. Every night you're going to be in a different port, and it's just a lot of fun. There's pools, there's hot tubs, there's pretty much everything imaginable. I mean, the days of looking at cruising just being on your deck chair and play shuffleboard.
Right.
While that's still here, if you want, there's so much other stuff on board, and that's what's just exciting to me.
Now, what are some things like that I don't know, guys might not know that you have on a cruise ship besides the bars and the steaks? Are there other things? I mean, when you said go-kart track, I'm like, really? There's a go-kart track? Like, what are some other things that are on a ship like this the general viewers might not know about?
One of the things that new cruisers don't quite get, but I love, is if you want a second serving or something, just ask. Or like if you're in the main dining room and you're sitting there going, okay, well, do I want steak or lobster? Ask for both. Because it's already included. And a lot of times they'll actually they'll plate it for you in the kitchen, so you have both on one plate. Sometimes they'll bring out 2 entrees for you. So if you're hungry, there's tons and tons of food on here. One of the other things I think is nice too is that you can usually, like if you're here on a romantic thing, for instance, and you want to get away from the almost 4,000 people on board. Actually, with staff, it's almost it's over 5,000, I think.
Right.
There are places like a solarium or places like corners of the observation lounge that you can get away and just kind of have some time by yourself. Let's say you're on a bachelor party. One of the things that the cruise lines are really, really accommodating with, if you want to have a meetup of 20 guys or 10 guys, you can usually go to the front desk and say like, hey, I want to have this meetup, and they'll give you a private room, and sometimes they'll put a bar package together for you so you can get 2 hours of open bar, for instance, and that makes it really, really fun for bachelor parties or reunions or retirement parties or whatever you're doing.
I've never been on a cruise, frankly. I've always wanted to go. I mean, it sounds like we've certainly moved into the 21st century when it comes to this kind of entertainment.
So one of the things that people who may not be familiar with cruising find really cool when they first see it is the stateroom attendants are super, super attentive. Like if you take if you go to use the bathroom and you step outside to go do whatever, you come back in, you're going to find out that your entire bathroom was clean in like the 5 minutes you're gone from the room. It's absolutely crazy. When they come back in the evening, you'll find out the little towel animals and that kind of stuff. Actually, I think that Norwegian just stopped the automatic towel animals, but you can still request those.
Wow.
But the level of service you get is shocking. I mean, we've all stayed in hotels. You get turned down service, and that's one thing. But cruising is such a completely different level, especially for the cost.
Sure.
You're getting the rooms are smaller than you would have in like a $300 or $400 night hotel, for instance. But in a luxury hotel, you're not getting the same level of service. These guys, at the end of the cruise, you'll be walking around and our favorite bartender will go, "Oh, Mr. Hills, Mr. James, how's it?" Or if you go to the restaurant or the bar on a regular basis, they'll know your drink. And these guys are super, super attentive, and it's a really cool experience. I mean, it's not for everybody.
Right.
You can't get around the fact that you are stuck on a boat with almost 5,000 people between the staff and the guests. But if you're okay with that, then it's just a really cool way of seeing a lot of stuff. So for instance, when I'm in the Caribbean, I haven't decided which island I want to go back to. Do I want to spend a week in St. Lucia? Do I want to spend a week in Puerto Rico? I don't know. But for under $1,000 for the week per person, I can go and see 5 different islands. And every day I'm doing something different. I can go fishing here, I can go to rum distilleries there. There's just a lot of options. And I think that a lot of guys are afraid of cruising because they've heard bad things, or they think it's just for families and kids. But it's not.
Right.
So.
Well, that's great to hear. I mean, for someone like myself, I'm surprised I've never gone on a cruise, but the kind of thing I guess I would want from is experiential. Whether you like you said, you get to visit islands, and then while you're on the boat, it's food, it's fun experiences, things you can do. It's just I guess it would be the diversity of experience that you can get from a cruise is something that I don't think people really understand.
I think you're absolutely right. And as far as the experience, different cruises are different. But like tonight, we're going to a teppanyaki place, and that's a lot of fun where they're preparing the fish and beef and stuff like that in front of you, and throwing it up in the air and doing the jokes. If you really want an experiential, one of the things I absolutely love, and I swear I'm not a shill for Cruise Line. They've just been a really good partner for me. But we were on Pride of America last year, and that's the Hawaiian cruise that is the only one that's actually all in Hawaii Islands. They had a Hawaiian ambassador on board that was teaching you about doing Hawaiian dances and leis and that kind of stuff. And a perfect example of guys not really realizing the history of things or what things mean. Hawaiian dances were practiced by warriors. It's not just the hula girls. Like, it's a manly expression of virility,
right?
And just to scare off your opponents before they even get a chance to hurt you. And I didn't realize that until I was talking with the ambassador. Of course, like, these things are masculine and manly, and there's no reason to think that just dancing around is for girls. Yeah, get up there and shake it. Make that scary face. Pretend you're a warrior, and that really gives a lot of chance to learn. I think different cruise lines offer different things. Some cruise lines are just about having fun with the family, and it's the same experience whether you're in the Caribbean or you're in Alaska or you're in the Mediterranean. But if you're looking for really good learning with the local stuff, Holland America does a great job as well. They have some programs where they have a lot of enrichment activities. You can have cooking classes and a wine tasting. Like, I love wine, and I'm really on a passionate kick to promote wine for guys and have guys understand better about the whole industry.
Sure.
One of the things that I really enjoy is chemistry. And so they have a wine blending experience on some of the newer Holland America ships, where it's not just getting a Merlot, it's getting 3 or 4 different blends and mixing them up. So maybe you want to have a blend that has low tannins with a high body and a little bit more sweet, but maybe you want something different, and you can create your own wine blend. And I think that's super cool as far as just the experiences that you're not going to get on shore.
Right.
Or if you were, like, let's say, sure, I'm sure you could go to New York and you can find that somewhere, but it's going to be a lot more expensive. You're going to spend a ton of time going between different experiences. But on a ship, everything's within like a 5-minute walk.
When people go out on vacations, they want to have memorable experiences. They want to have, and I think the fact that there's such diversity of experiences on a cruise like this makes it incredibly desirable. I mean, it's an incredible thing to do, and also it gets people sort of out of their shell, I would imagine. If you're kind of shy or something, you can come to a cruise ship and it kind of it gives you an opportunity to move out of your comfort zone, but in a safe way, maybe?
I'm not a good singer, but guess what? Like, I might do karaoke and just belt out some Neil Diamond tunes, and I feel like just because I said this on the podcast, if I don't now go to do karaoke and have it on video for you, that people are going to be upset. So maybe I might just come out of my shell for you on that one. But no, it's really cool that way, because there's all those opportunities. So one of the things that the Carnival does really well is they have a Did You Ever feature on their menu every night in the main dining room. And it's things like frog legs or escargot or sushi. And a lot of people, I love frog legs. I love sushi. I love weird stuff because it's fun to explore. But
Sure.
A lot of people haven't stepped out of their comfort zone. And if you walk into a sushi restaurant and you go like, what's this? I've never tried squid. Well, it's intimidating to order something you didn't, because you might have just bought something for 10, $15 you don't want.
Right. Sure.
So try it. If you don't like it, just don't eat it. And that's really, really cool. Like I had a friend who had never had Indian food on a cruise, or never had Indian food in general. He was on a cruise with us, and we're talking with the waiter, and he goes, "Oh, our chef makes really good Indian food." There's a lot of Indian chefs on the cruise ships for some reason. Well, the chef was so excited to hear that somebody wanted some Indian food that he made up a special dinner just for us. And
Wow.
that was my first experience with with Indian food, and he loved it. But he would never have gone to an Indian restaurant,
Sure.
because he didn't know. So it's your vacation. Enjoy it. The people that are here to make your life better, the staff, are so dedicated. No matter what cruise line you're on, while there's not everybody is always going to be awesome in any instance.
Sure.
Overwhelmingly, the staff on cruise ships are accommodating, helpful, friendly. Even when you know that they just got off a 15-hour shift, they're friendly, they're smiling, and it's so cool. Like you'll see some of these guys at night serving drinks at the bar at 1:00, and then you see them at breakfast next morning. Like, did you even sleep? Goes, oh no, Mr. James, and like it's just so cool, because they're not making a lot of money, but they're happy. It's a life that a lot of these guys have that's better than if they were at home, and it's a special experience. So absolutely make sure that you tip, and that's something, your early question about stuff that new people may not know. Tips are generally added automatically. You can take them off. Don't take them off, because that's how they make their money.
Right.
And what I usually do, in addition to whatever's included, we also go around, and if a bartender was really good to me, I'll give them $5 or $20 or whatever it is extra. If there's a special waiter that was really good to us, the same thing. Those dollars mean a lot to them.
Yeah.
And to you and I, $20 is $20. To a guy that's not making a lot of money, that's a lot of times these guys, their entire paycheck goes back to the Philippines or to India or to Africa, wherever these guys are from.
Sure.
And helps feed their family and their kids. And they work really, really hard. So don't be cheap. If you got a good experience, make sure you take care of them, because trust me, the love goes around.
Is a cruise experience like this, is it 24 hours? Is there stuff going on 24 hours, or do people ever sleep?
There's almost always stuff going on 24 hours. But it's not the same level of stuff.
Right, sure.
So to be honest, the Alaska cruise we did and the Hawaiian cruise we did, the last two cruises I did on Norwegian, were pretty intensive port-wise, and pretty intense cruises where...
Sure.
When I was 20, I could stay up 24 hours, but now that I'm 40,
yeah,
I'm not able to get up at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning to get ready to go spend a whole day hiking somewhere and then stay up, drinking. But on other cruises like the Caribbean, that's a lot more relaxed.
Right.
Yeah, we'll stay up and do like a piano bar until 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, and hit the late night buffet to get some hot dogs or fries or whatever it is, and then. If you want to wake up at 6 o'clock to get off the ship, be the one of the first people to get off the ship, you can do that. But there's generally something going on all the time. It's just a matter of what you want to do.
I'm fascinated by this. I'm glad that we get to have you here to sort of give us this sort of impromptu tour.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for chatting.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate your time. This is great. Well, if that didn't just make you want to leave your troubles behind on shore, jump on a cruise ship, and set sail onto the ocean, I don't know what would. I certainly want to go. This is Robert Meyer Burnett, and I want to thank James Hills from mantripping.com for doing that for me. And next week, I'll have another exciting look at living the lucky tiger life. Until then, remember, every person you meet has a story to tell you have yet to hear. All you have to do is listen.